Hey guys, I'm Doug.
And I'm Pat.
Welcome back to the Doug and Pat Show.
Long time no see.
How was that intro? Was that?
I thought it was very good.
That was. I'm trying to put some more energy into it because people have been complaining that I've been not very energetic. So
Well, you
I'm
can
sensitive.
Take something for that, you know.
Yeah, I think I probably will before the show's over. Wow, today we are going to talk about something that we know that our people would never think we would ever talk about, and that is...
And I didn't think we had ever talked about this myself.
Right, and that is about your pipe. No, not about your pipe. Today we're going to talk about pedals. The only reason why we're talking about pedals is because, you know, the people who watch the show know that we're tone mavens. We're really stuck in our ways. We really think that the best sound is a great sounding pickup, great sounding guitar, great sounding amp. Nothing wrong with that, is there?
No.
No. We think that all the amps that we have behind us are great sounding and we get great sounding pickups. So why would we be talking about pedals? We were sent an email by a guy, that happens all the time for us to get emails from people that make stuff. And he makes a pedal that, it's this one right here. It's called the RYRA Klone pedal, and it is supposed to be a reproduction of a vintage piece that's highly collectible because they sound so great, called the Klon. His name's Shane, and he sent us this, and I went and checked out the videos because there are a number of videos that are available of people who demo pedals. We don't really demo pedals, but there's a lot out there. And I was really knocked out. Here's the reason I was knocked out. It doesn't change the sound of the guitar. That is, if you plug this in, you can set the knobs and flip the button, and it doesn't do anything at all. It sounds exactly the same, which isn't exactly a reason why you'd buy it.
Right.
But it has a boost, and you can boost it and change some of the tone characteristics. It's a different kind of a thing, I think, and we'll find out in this show, than this, which is an 808 Tube Screamer, or a variety of other pedals that are boosts, but also maybe overdrive pedals. So he sent us this, and we plugged it into a variety of amplifiers. It's pretty intriguing. There are a number of different pedals that are similar to this, I think. Bonamassa uses one. What's it called? The
Overdrive.
Overrated something.
Dumb something.
It's a boost pedal. He stopped using all of this other stuff that he was using, and he uses a boost pedal. So we wanted to plug this in and see if this matches our criteria for if you've got a great sounding guitar and amplifier, but what you're looking for is to beef it up a little bit without changing the tone. That is, it doesn't fix anything. It just gives you a little bit more flavoring. Will it be able to do it? And then we're going to compare it to a couple of the other pedals that are popular, like the 808. Just as kind of an introduction to it. We know that this pedal thing is pretty well covered, as I said before, by a variety of people. We're not competing with that. We're just plugging it into the thing we do. If we plug this into our Vox amp and a good sounding guitar, that amplifier sounds good already. It doesn't really need any help, but does it lose anything when we plug into it? We also got an email from a guy just today who is asking about pickups, WCRs in this case, and he said, I like the sound of my guitar and I like the sound of my amp. I was just wondering if I switch pickups to a higher output pickup, would I be able to get a little bit more out of it? I think we found that if you're going to go to a higher output pickup, what are they going to do? They're going to wind the coil a little more, change the magnet. Does that change the sound?
You'd think.
Changes the sound. So what if you like the sound of the pickup that you have and you don't want to do that? This could be a viable option.
Yeah. Was the guy that wrote the email, what kind of guitar did he have?
He said he has a Les Paul. Didn't say what kind of amp he has, but I think it kind of plugs into all kinds of things, such as no matter what kind of amp he has, will something like this help him? And we're going to try to address that today. That is, if we're plugging this into the Vox, okay, but we'll also have a 64 Princeton, which sounds very clean compared to the Vox. We'll plug it into that. It might also work for other people that for some unfortunate reason they end up with a guitar that is not exactly completely desirable. They've inherited it from their grandfather or some sort of thing like that. You know, and they're stuck with it, or they just don't have any money and they can't really afford to buy anything good. Here's an example of that. That would be a guitar like this. This is called, have you seen these before?
I've never really spent any time with one.
Yeah. This is, I guess it's called a Fender Stratocaster.
Okay.
I don't know any big rock stars who ever used these. Oh, Buddy Holly.
Oh, Richie Havens.
Richie Havens.
Yeah, one.
And the guy in The Shadows.
You played with him, didn't you?
Yeah, I did, before I aged out of that group. This guitar, as maybe some of you know if you've ever heard of it, has weak pickups in it relative to the PAF style pickups that we usually do. This guitar could probably use some help maybe on that line. And we're going to plug it in too and find out what it does.
So is what you're saying is these pedal guys are claiming that you can take that guitar with lower output pickups, get a sound that you like, boost it, and sound good at a louder volume.
Uh-huh.
That's what they're claiming?
That's what they're suggesting.
Without changing the tone of that?
Without changing the tone.
Boy. We'll see.
And maybe depending on the type of amplifier that you have, it could also open the door towards many more possibilities, such as this Princeton that we have. Maybe that Princeton will actually start doing cooler stuff.
Oh, well.
We have a GA20T Gibson Ranger over here that I plugged it into. That's a great sounding amp. Boost it up a little bit. You could also keep the volume a little bit lower. It's just an interesting thing. But does it really do it?
That's the question.
That's the deal. So what we're going to do is we are going to plug some guitars into it and see what it does.
I had a friend who had an oboe once, and he tried that, and it didn't change the tone of the oboe at all.
What kind of oboe was it?
I think it was made in Croatia.
Mm-hmm. Was it a vintage one?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Then it should have sounded great.
Well, it did, but then he put it through a pedal, and it didn't sound so
It didn't sound that great? Did he send the pedal back?
I don't know.
Oh.
I think he might have just thrown it away.
Well, thank you for sharing that story, Pat. That's really great. See the IKEA light that's off of your right-hand side
It's
there?
pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Well, let's listen to the sound of these guys.
Wait. One more question. Because somebody inevitably is going to write or call and want to know what that is.
This?
No, that other.
This?
Yeah.
I think it's a little gold cat that belonged to my aunt. Doesn't have any markings on it. It's got cute little feet on the bottom. I like it.
Yeah.
It's sort of. This also is a thing that belonged to my aunt. She said that there were two of these in the store in Mill Valley in the 70s when she bought it.
Huh.
And this one she bought, and the other one Willie Mays, the baseball player, bought.
Really?
Yeah.
The Say Hey kid.
Say Hey. Yeah, who cut the ball over his shoulder like that.
Yeah.
And so this kind of goes with that.
Cool.
I think it looks good on this GA79.
Then you better than that.
Okay, let's see what it does. So we have the Heritage H150 with, I can't say the names of the pickups because we're going to do this in a pickup shootout, but these are some of the most expensive aftermarket pickups available, but I can't tell you the name of them.
Okay.
But they sound pretty good. And this is through the Vox, so I'll just play a couple chords and some things through the Vox, and then Pat's going to flip the switch and we're going to see if it sounds different. These are the suggested characteristics, settings from Shane. He said, start here.
What does RYRA stand for?
Rock your repaired amp.
All right.
Yep. Which is a weird name, but we like that. Strange. Here it is. Bridge pickup. That sounds, from where we sit, that sounds about the same.
Yep.
Which is not a good reason to buy a pedal like this to sound the same. Although we make a pedal as it's called Sound the Same. Consists of 2 jacks, an LED, a 9-volt battery, and it's $500.
Oh.
Yeah.
You get a professional discount?
Yes, in quantity.
Cool.
Now we're going to boost it a little, which is what it does. It also has a tone control. So if your amplifier is a little not too bright, I mean not bright like as in not smart, but so you see it's coming up in gain. Let's compare. Turn it off. It's doing something.
It is.
It's doing something. We're not listening to the recording yet. We're just, the amp's in another room. But what we're wondering about is it augmenting the sound somehow so that when you boost it a little bit, it's more than just a level boost. Is there something in this circuitry that's going on here? In our interview with Shane that's coming up, maybe he can answer some of those questions. Right now we're just listening to it to hear what it does. The Vox, of course, great sounding amplifier, so is it making that sound worse, or is it actually bringing some things out in the Vox that sound better? But we really need to plug it into something that really sounds quite a bit different. Let's plug it into the 64 Fender Princeton with the stock Jensen ceramic speaker in it and do exactly the same thing. Because this, I think, would be an amplifier that could probably use some help to achieve a ballsier sound.
I would think.
All right, let's try that.
Okay.
This is through the 64 Princeton stock. Let's boost it. Going to take it up quite a bit for the Princeton. Kick it in. Let's kick it in the butt a little. Woo-hoo! How about this? The gain control. That does something.
Mm-hmm.
What does it do, Shane? Yeah, this gain knob certainly does. This is a tone changer to some degree, I think. We haven't listened to the recording, but to us, it sounds better. It doesn't sound quite as clean, if that's the sound that you want. It does, so it can change the tone a little bit, but for the best, it seems. Just for the heck of it, let's plug a Stratocaster into it. I know,
Okay.
I know.
Okay.
This is, we should probably say what this Strat is. Sorry for all the Strat guys out there, we're just having some fun. This is
How many Strats do you own?
I own this one.
How many Les Pauls do you own?
I don't know. More.
I'll say no more.
Yeah, how about you?
I got about some.
Yeah, I know, I've seen some. This is a US made, I don't know what it's called. You can just buy these for about $1,000, I think. Has Texas specials in it. So it's good. Sounds like a Stratocaster to me.
Good looking rig.
Yeah, it's got a Mary Kay kind of a cream finish on it. It's cool. It's got big frets in it.
They got in their PAF pickups in it.
It's got 3 PAFs right here. So take this gain thing out and just boost it a little bit. Now let's see if we can hurt somebody with it. Take that up a bit. Treble position. Neck position. Bring the gain up, gain knob. Yeah, that's definitely something's going on there. Okay, so that's with the Princeton.
What is that guy's name with the big frizzy hair that played a Stratocaster upside down?
Was he a left-handed?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's probably why he used a bunch of pedals.
Was he English?
I don't think so.
Uh-huh.
I don't think so.
Because I saw some footage of a guy that was in England that kind of met that sort of thing.
He might have gone to England and
Yeah.
done some stuff over there.
Oh, and he set his guitar on fire? No.
Well, what
No.
kind of fool would do
Ah,
that?
no.
Jesus.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah, he did use a lot of pedals,
a
didn't he?
lot of pedals.
Stevie Ray, we'll break into reality here. Stevie Ray used a Tube Screamer, I think. So a lot of guys beef the sound of these guitars up. Some guys don't. We don't know. So don't write into us about that we left somebody out. We're just talking about what this thing does to the amplifier. Just for the heck of it, let's plug into the to a Gibson GA20T, also known as a Ranger, all-tube amplifier with tremolo. It has this 5189 or whatever it has in it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's hear what that sounds like. This is the Gibson GA20T is a much more affordable amplifier than the Princeton, much less the Princeton Reverb. So let's just hear what that sounds like. Okay, this is the Gibson GA20T. This is a 1960 called a Ranger. It's tweed. There's a picture of it. And this is a, like I said, it's a really affordable amplifier, I think, compared to the Fenders.
Oh,
They don't
yeah.
sound like
That's
Fenders,
right.
have 2 channels, has tremolo. This is with the unit off, and we're back to the Heritage again with the high-priced mystery pickups. Boosted. Oh no!
Is that?
It's a collect call from the Seattle area.
Okay.
You know,
I'm glad it's got your number, not mine.
I'm sort of getting the sense that Jason's, you know, thing is moved a little towards me because something's up. I think these people know it. So anyway, I'm hoping maybe it goes to my, okay.
It did.
I know this thing upsets you a lot, so I'll edit this out, Pat. Don't worry about it. No one's going to see that look on your face right now of you, you know, thinking about what your options are.
Are there any?
Oh yeah.
I think I'm just screwed. is what-
Then let's leave it at that. Okay. Thank you, Jason. Gift that just keeps giving. So that's boosted up just a little bit, just with that Gibson. We can hear the Gibson's breaking up a shade, but that's kind of the question that you have to answer, which is, does the amplifier you have, is it almost there? Because we're not talking about manufacturing a new tone. We're just talking about seeing what the amp will do if you kick it a little bit with a pedal like this. And next we're going to go to the some of these other guys, the Tube Screamers, some of the other pedals that we got on loan from 5 Star Guitar.
Mm-hmm. Jeremy, Joff, and Jeep.
Real names.
They're the guys.
And what we're looking for is how transparent can they be, kind of opening the door for maybe a lot of the other people who make pedals. If they want to send us something, we'll put them up, you know, and we'll see what they do, because we're sort of digging what this does, how transparent it is, because for us, we don't want to lose the tone of these amplifiers. We want to only enhance them. So let's try the, oh, are you sure?
Let's give it a whirl.
Are you sure? All right. Next up, so we sent Shane a series of questions that he could answer for us to give a little bit of information about his company and about how he makes pedals and stuff like that. He said he wanted to do it in a video form and send us a video back of him answering the questions. So he sent that. So let's hear what it looks like.
Is our pedal based upon the original Klon? You want to take that one, Jeremy? Yeah, it is. Let me elaborate a little bit on that. Our pedal is based on the original Klon. There you have it, folks. What is your background? And what got you interested in doing them? Well, I used to reverse engineer car wash chemicals with this gentleman right here. And we learned a little bit about replicating things through that process. Been a guitar player since I was in high school. Wasn't making a whole lot of money when I was doing car wash chemicals. So I started trying to figure out how to make my own pedals. And as you folks know out there in YouTube land, a Klon pedal's a couple $1,000s on eBay. So I figured I'd go out there and I'd try to use my replication skills and make my own. That's kind of what got me into this business. Do you have anything you want to add there, Jeremy?
No?
All right.
Do these guys seem kind of weird to you?
Well, they look pretty normal. But
I don't know.
yeah.
I don't know.
Is there a difference? Next question. Is there a difference between a pedal like ours that is sonically transparent with a boost compared to something like an 808 Tube Screamer that has overdrive and distortion and kind of changes the tone of the amp? You see, well, a Tube Screamer has a mid-hump, and some people like that. A Klon does not have a mid-hump the same way. It's a different tone circuit. So, you know, and I believe it's fantastic. I used to own a TS 808, and when I made my own first Klone, I immediately sold my 808.
I don't know what to think about that guy on the left.
Is that Jeremy?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I used to have a lot of trouble lighting my cigar and lighting my pipe. But I found that those, you know, those propane lighters that you buy for camping and lighting campfires and barbecues?
Oh, yeah.
If you take, like your pipe, and you put some of that starter fluid in the very bottom, then you stuff it with some tobacco,
That'll do it.
and then you take one of those propane things, sucker will light right on up.
Something he could definitely learn, because he's
Oh yeah.
he's
yeah,
fumbling around like
Well-
some kind of, I hate to see it, but he's kind of sounds a little bit like he's kind of a fool.
Well,
I mean, I don't want to say that about Jeremy, but so I'm glad that you pointed out
he's
that,
young.
'cause
He's young.
something's going on.
Let's see what the next question is here, folks. Can my pedal also introduce overdrive characteristics that are not coming from the amplifier? It absolutely does. In the Klone, there is NOS, new old stock germanium diodes. Can you show them some of these new old stock germanium diodes to these folks? Let them get a gander at what they look like. Give them a little description of what you got there. Where'd you get that thing?
At the fishing gear store. It's-
Oh.
These are glass. They're located right there.
Oh, that was very helpful. Thank you, Vanna White.
Yeah.
So, what do you think about the guy on the right?
I tell you, I think he's a smart guy, probably a good-hearted, loving person who is a boon to society in every possible way. That's what I think.
Talk a little bit about the circuit and how it does what it does, quality of components, etc. Now, I like this question because this is what I believe sets my product apart from the rest. So, in a Klone or a Klon circuit, there's something called a dual gain pot, which blends all the sounds together. It'll blend your clean sound and the IC chips being clipped, and it'll also blend in the germanium diodes. So that's how you get an undistorted sound as you're turning things up and down, and a clean sound, and you get all the variety of crazy sounds. And the last part of this question was quality of components. I use in our pedals military grade V-shade Dale resistors. I use Nikon fine gold audio quality capacitors, and we use very hard to source new old stock diodes that I have to get out of the Ukraine overseas from old military supply places. So that's, you know, those components are what makes my pedals so clear, so three-dimensional, so punchy. You have anything to add to that?
Yeah, hold on.
Oh.
Billy. Man, you gotta stop calling me.
The guy on the left appeared to have a phone call from Billy Gibbons.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't that happen to you?
It did. It did, on the air too.
Yeah.
I mean,
And-
as we were taping.
And they had a little thing with sword canes or something like that.
Yep.
Looked more like a bayonet, but whatever the case, I don't know. I think it's a great pedal. And why don't you hold it up there, Pat? Want to say something about it?
No.
Okay. Great pedal. Let's go to the Tube Screamer, and let's do a little comparison. Throw that in there. I know it's not exactly the same thing, but we'll do that, and we'll. Thanks, Shane, and thanks, Jeremy, for this interesting
Thanks,
video.
guys.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Let's take a look at a couple old faves, and that's going to be the Ibanez Tube Screamer. Now, I think the only reason why we're doing these is because this is a popular pedal. We're turning the overdrive completely off and just using it as a level boost, just to hear when we turn it on, does it change the characteristic of the amplifier?
Right.
And if it does change the characteristic of the amplifier, it's something that you're stuck with. And so you have to like it. Instead of not changing the characteristic, but you have a tone control and you can augment it or do whatever you want. This one is a Reissue 808. Is that what this is? We got from 5 Star.
Mm-hmm.
This one started out as a TS9, and it was redone by a guy named Analog Man with an 808 chip and the whole deal. So it's an expensive modification. Interesting to hear the difference between the two. Let's start with this one. And we'll use the Heritage again with the mystery pickups through the Vox, which we're pretty familiar with. If that's on, we can definitely hear a difference between the two. I don't know if we could get rid of that. It's got that boost in there. Turn it on. We'll put it at 12 o'clock. Let's try this one.
Okay.
This is you can buy one of these. This is just a stock 808, is that right?
Yep.
Okay. You can definitely hear the boost. The tone change does not seem to be as much. They sound different to me. Flip it off. It's about got unity gain there. We'll boost it. What do you think? What do you think between the two of these guys? That they're supposed to be the same thing, basically. I sort of like this one better, if I was going to use something like that. The Vox already sounds great, so it is a modification that it's subjective. This one changes the tone a little bit less.
And what pickups did you say these were?
I didn't say.
Do they start with an S?
They don't.
How about a D?
They might start with a D,
Oh,
but I can't say any more because we're
Okay.
going to use them in the next pickup shootout, some of you to look forward to.
okay.
They're pretty, aren't they?
They look great.
Yeah.
They look real good.
Mm-hmm. We've opened a door here, Pat, a little can of worms by doing this into the pedals, because Pat and I are not really pedal guys. We've used them because they make different sounds. We were talking about, if you're in a band and you need particular sounds and this and that, we get that.
Yeah.
But we still have to go back to the thing that we started with, which is having a really great sound, really great pickup, really great guitar. That little niche that we have, that's still our focus. So if you have that, you can't create that
Right.
with a pedal. We don't think you can create it with a pedal. We haven't been able to create it with a pedal. So what does it do? If you use it and it's a boost pedal, can it augment what you're doing? That's it right there. So I just don't want to have people calling in or writing us and saying that you guys are anti-pedal. We're not. We just have a particular sound that we think that you have to achieve. And then can something like this or a Tube Screamer augment that? It's kind of up to the player, really, isn't it?
Well, the whole thing with Chasing Oscar, it's that pure sound of the guitar, of the pickups,
Right.
as opposed to trying to get that sound with a pedal. So
Right.
I guess if you can use a pedal to get Oscar sound, and you're using a lesser type amp and guitar, lesser meaning a real cheapo type thing.
It ain't going to happen.
That
It's not going to happen. It's delusional. So Pat is always on the phone asking people who make stuff like this or make pickups if they are interested in being on the show. And so if Pat is in touch with you, know that we will give you a fair shake with your product, but this is kind of the thing we're going for. We know that there are a lot of other overdrive pedals like this.
Tons.
Now here's an important thing too. This is based on the Klon, but this has already been done on other shows. You know this show called The Pedal Show? I think there's these English guys.
Yep.
And they do the back and forth on that. Frankly, we really don't care if it's based on the Klon. I know.
Is that a wasp?
We live in Oregon, but you would think we lived like in a timber town with all chainsaws cutting all this stuff down. Pretty soon it won't be a timber place.
No.
So we don't really particularly care if it's based on the Klon or if it's based on anything. We only care about what it sounds like.
Bottom line, folks.
Bottom line. So we're interested in some other stuff. If you've got some other stuff that you want to be in touch with Pat about, send it to the DougAndPatShow.com or the DougAndPatShow@gmail, etc. So yeah, that's a deal on the pedals right there. I think you had an idea for an extra feature for the show, which sounded pretty good to me, and that would be you doing a pole dance. No.
No.
Jeez.
No, the idea is to, because we mainly feature vintage guitars and mainly expensive guys, like Gibsons and Fenders and
All right. What's the
not-
second one?
Well, Fenders.
Fender?
Yeah, well, we had a Fender on here. It's,
Okay. Yeah, okay.
I won't go there.
All right.
But there's some off-the-wall guitars that are pretty darn cool, and I think that we'll do a little thing at the end of some of the shows where we kind of feature some of these guitars. The first one is going to be a Worthington guitar that was made out of St. Louis, Ed Seelig at Silver Strings Music, and they only made a very few of them, but we'll get into that when we do the show.
And didn't some famous guys get those guitars?
He gave them the first, just about all of them went to very, very well-known type musicians.
Like Joe Walsh.
Like Joe Walsh.
This picture
like
of Joe Walsh.
Billy Gibbons, like the people in Hart, Ann Wilson, and Nancy and Howard.
Yeah,
Please.
yeah. So you're saying you have one?
I do.
So what are the pickups in that guitar?
The pickups are Seymour Duncan pickups, amongst the first batch of them that they ever made, according to MJ. Seymour Duncan. And they, on the bottoms they say Seymorized, not Duncanized, but Seymorized.
And what does MJ say about that?
She said that they are extremely rare and probably pretty valuable. But
Are they like some of the first pickups that
Exactly.
Seymour did?
Yeah.
Yikes! So we have some of the first Duncan pickups, so we can hardly wait to show that.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Well, and there's several other guitars that are we've got lined up. It'll be fun to see.
So we'll tag it onto the end of the show as a regular
Yeah.
feature.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
That sounds great. I think I think that'll help generate larger numbers of our viewers. We have sort of a niche market, but I also have an idea of what would help that out too.
Oh,
And that would be
you ready for this?
and that would be cat videos. Everyone loves cat videos. So here's our first cat video. What'd you think of the cat video?
It's special.
It's great, isn't it?
It is. It's very special.
All right. So you can go to our website and at the DougAndPatShow.com because we now have a new feature. It's the blog. Do you know what a blog is?
Aren't those wooden shoes?
So we're going to have our own blog where we're going to be able to talk sort of like tweaking on your iPad. And we'll give our thoughts of what we're doing because
An
sometimes...
iPad.
Shut up, you don't know.
I got a flip phone.
Is that you humming? And we will write what we're doing because some people think that if we don't make a video in a while, like we're dead, which is a valid concern. So we're going to do a blog, and you can pick that up at the DougAndPatShow.com. And when you're there, you can also go to our store where we have our merchandise, t-shirts, small logo, large logo, long sleeves, short sleeves. We sell them internationally. Here's a picture of a guy, Frederick Morin, who is in Tokyo, and we asked him, Fred, hey Fred, send us a picture of you in a Doug and Pat Show t-shirt with some sort of iconic Tokyo thing, which we have up on the screen here. If you guys get a shirt and you are living in some sort of place, it doesn't really matter where it is, send us a picture in the Doug and Pat Show t-shirt, and we'll put you up there.
Cool.
Yeah, fun stuff, huh?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
It is.
Well, that's the end of our show today, guys. Thanks for watching. I'm Doug.
And I'm Pat.
See you later.
Bye.